Hello there, I'm Ian Charles of Wizards, and I'm here with Paul Lloyd. We're going to be talking today about business development strategy. Now, I've been in and around sales and marketing for a while. Paul has a particular pedigree which I'd like to talk. I'd like to get him to introduce himself and tell you about. So, Paul, why are you here?
Okay, so well, I've worked in the IT industry for the last 25 years in sales and marketing. So, and over that time, I've learnt a lot about selling technology, and I've worked with some of the biggest companies and some of the smallest. So, I have a particular understanding of the requirements of smaller businesses from a selling and marketing point of view, just the same as larger ones. So I've been fortunate that I have had success with enterprise as well as SME, and I think in this day and age, selling to SMEs can be done with the same level of professionalism and understanding that we would have sold to the enterprise 20 years ago. So I've managed lots of sales teams and lots of sales people along the way. So,
But so the whole basis of that really is having a business development strategy.
yeah, I think in terms of winning business, so if what you want to do is to go out and grow your business, the first place to start is how far and what is it that you want to achieve. Now, I would always recommend that you look at a 3-year plan. So you're looking at a 3-year plan rather than a 1-year plan.
Right.
Because if you've got nothing, if you're starting from nowhere, then it's going to take, sensibly, it's going to take 12 to 18 months before you start to actually see the fruits of your labour. You'll get orders along the way, but to get a consistent pipeline of business closing, it's going to take 12 to 18 months.
Right.
So if you look at your investment over a 3-year period, then you start to see the payback in the second half of that.
Okay, so we need to have a realistic understanding of what we're looking for. How much growth do you want? What does acquiring a new client cost you? Is there any process actually about of it? Does it cost you any money to actually work with a new client? Is that chargeable? How long does it take you to acquire a new client? What's your actual lead time? How have you got your traditional clients? What's your wallet share with those existing clients? And which clients making the most profit? Which are the ones that are worth having? So
we start with how much. What does that? I recently did a project with a client, so they wanted to do £400,000 worth of new business in the next 18 months. So that was, if you want, that's the target. So then we look at that and we say, what does that translate to? And their average order value for a 50-seat account was something in the order of £80,000. So to do 400,000, we divide 400,000 by 80,000, which gives us 5.
Sorry, I wasn't me giving you a hint there. I knew you knew the answer.
So we need 5 new customers. So what does that mean? How many do we need? What's our closing ratio and all those sorts of things? And we ended up with a situation where we're buying 1,000 records for build a database, because typically we know that if there's 1,000 companies, then 300 of them are perfectly happy with their current supplier. 300 of them aren't probably happy with their current supplier, but they can't be bothered to do anything about it because nobody's helping them out, and 300 of them aren't happy. The challenge when you buy a list is that you don't know which of the 300 that aren't happy. So you build it through, you work through it, you generate the interest, you find the opportunities, you take the opportunities through a relatively straightforward and simple process, and at the end of it you get an order.
By which time your 1,000 has become 300, your 300 has become 50, and your 50 engagements over 3 years, and that 50 whittles down to the five orders at the end of your 3-year period.
That's it. So you get your 5 orders, you get your new customers, and of course what you've then done is you've built a pipeline of companies that you've touched, that you've engaged with, that you can go back to, that you can work through the social media, or you can run a webinar, or you can run a seminar, and a host of other things to get them to understand what it is that you do as a business.
Right.
But it's not that complicated. It's not rocket science. It's just a simple process that you've got to ask yourself the questions right from the beginning. What are we selling? Who are we selling it to? What do we want to achieve? And put the building blocks in place to be able to do it.
And the rationale, of course, here is the fact that once you've touched your 1,000 customers, once you've made contact with your 1,000 customers, once you've been through it all, once you've got to your 300, to your 50, to your 5, once you've built that funnel, you just start the process all over again.
Yeah,
it's
you just keep
a
it going.
continual drip, drip, drip. So again, we come back to the idea that marketing is a process, not an event.
Absolutely.
And then your own words,
But that's it. The whole thing. There's two processes fundamentally. There is the marketing process to create marketing leads, and then they go into sales, and then there's a sales process. And each step of the way, there are certain things that you have to do, and if you don't do them, it doesn't work. So you work it through. You manage the people in the process. If you've got people, if you've got salespeople, then you're making sure that they're going through the steps, and then it becomes predictable, and your forecast becomes predictable. You know what size your pipeline needs to be at each stage, because you know what your actual conversion ratios are. So you know that to get your 5 orders, you probably need 20 actual sales processes that you're going through, because that gives you your 1 in 4. And then to get your 20 sales processes, you might need 150 people that you've spoken to get that far. It may be less, it may be more. It depends on what your proposition is. Mm-hmm. But if you work those metrics out and manage on them, and use a proper system to be able to give you that sort of information, mm-hmm. then you're in control. So there's no surprises, and you can work on pulling things forwards, but they're the exceptions, not the rule. So you've got to, if you've got a 6-month selling cycle in your particular business, and that's how it is, and you've got 6 months to get somebody through from a point of interest to being looking to buy something, you've got a 12-month cycle from beginning to end. Now, just because you need it next month, they're not going to make a decision for you next month.
No.
You can. There are things and ways, and obviously experience says you can pull things forward slightly. But if you've got a 6-month selling cycle, you've got a 6-month selling cycle. I was talking to a business recently that I did a workshop with a company recently where they kept sacking salespeople. So they'd take them on, and if they hadn't done anything, they'd sack them after 3 months. And I said to the chap, "So what's your selling cycle?" He said 6. I said, "Sorry?" He said 6 months. So your selling cycle's 6 months, but you sack your salesman after 3 months because they haven't achieved anything. And it was like switching a light on, because logically that makes no sense. But those sorts of things are what you pay for in experience to a large extent.
So this is where the business, the externalised interim sales director developing a coherent business development strategy based around what's realistic within an identified set of parameters in your business. That's what we can deliver in terms of giving you the business development strategy that works for your business. That's actually very enlightening. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll see more of you. Cheers now.